I've kind of gotten into a hole over the last week or so, and I've been studying so many books, but then I read a few pages and stopped reading it for some reason. So hopefully today I kind of can get out of it. I've picked up some books from my bookshelves that might pique my interest enough. So I'm just gonna show them to you, and then I'm gonna think about which one I want to read, or I'm just gonna read a few pages of each one of these and just pick one that I feel like continue reading. We'll see how it goes and which way I end up going, but yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start with Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Melors. Yeah, I don't know, I've been in a really big literary fiction hype before getting into my reading slump. Then I also have The Sky is Everywhere by Jenny Nelson. This is a really old YA contemporary story, and I don't really know what it's about, to be honest, but for most of these I actually don't. It's a YA contemporary story, and I've heard a lot about Jenny Nelson's books. So the next book I have is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I've always heard very mixed things about this, so I don't really know what to expect, like if I'm gonna love this or if I'm gonna hate it. But because it's so short, I really think this could be a thing that gets me out of my reading slump. Yeah, that's why it's on the list. And I also have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I've heard so much about TJ Klune, and this is one of these books that I've actually started. I've gotten to page 12 last night, and it was really good actually, but yeah, I don't know, I've just been feeling like reading nothing at the moment. And then there's another book that I've started and didn't continue, and that is Fable by Adrian Young. Adrian Young. Oh gosh, pronunciation really is my biggest enemy. It's actually like some kind of pirate story, I think. That's all I really know about this, and that it's gonna be like kind of fantasy, but maybe not really. And then there are also books on my TBR card that could potentially be something. These two are actually on my TBR card usually, but the other books are kind of random books I picked up from my bookshelves that I haven't read yet, but are not like super high on my priority list, but that I thought like could maybe be interesting enough. Also Happy Place by Emily Henry, which really would be something light, something fluffy, a summery romance. Maybe this is what I need right now. Maybe this can get me out of my slump, out of my mental health hole, out of my depression. Maybe. I think I'm just gonna start it, and if I'm really feeling it, I'm gonna continue reading it. But if I don't, I'm gonna stop reading it, because I feel like if I'm not in the right mood, then this could really go the wrong way, or I won't enjoy it as much. I've really tried to get into the story, but because of my book slump, the words just didn't really reach my brain while reading them. If you've ever been in a reading slump, you probably know the feeling. So yeah, I didn't continue Happy Place and actually took a break from reading for a few days, because sometimes that's the best thing you can do while being in the slump. Give yourself the time to step away from it for a while and let your energy recharge, and that's exactly what I've done. A few days ago, I started rewatching Zoe 101 with my boyfriend. It's actually been so much fun, like I can't even describe to you how much fun it's been, because I really loved the 2000s, because that was my childhood. The aesthetic is just everything. And to fix my reading, I just thought like, okay, let's just Google some books that are set in the 2000s. So I Googled it and I found the perfect book for my mood right now. Literally the perfect book. So I started reading The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. It's about stars from a 2000s teen TV show and their reunion and them getting back together and like all of the drama that has happened back in the 2000s. And we get chapters from like 2018 and then we get chapters from 2004 again. It always switches back and forth and like we learn what has happened during that show and like why the show was cancelled, and it's just very gossipy but also very 2000s, and I can just literally imagine like the characters of Zoe 101 being like part of the book. And I've only read 30 pages, but like the 30 pages that I've read last night literally flew by. I really have a feeling that this could get me out of my reading slump. And I'm also still listening to Catching Fire because I'm reading the whole Hunger Games trilogy right now, but I've also not made a lot of progress and I really want to get back into that as well. I'm about halfway through The Daydreams. I'm on 43%. I think I'm honestly just flying through this book. I'm super addicted to it. Like, I always want to read on. Even if I didn't have the chance the last couple of days, I've thought about it so much. I'm just so hyped to see what is going to happen, how the story continues, and the characters and like the whole story in general feels super real. Like it really feels like I'm reading about real celebrities, and in that sense it really reminds me of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, which I really enjoy because I always love me some gossip. Not gonna lie, like it really feels like reading about real people, like, and the whole concept of the story, like always going back and forth between 2004, 2005 and 2018, filming the reunion and filming the first 2 seasons and seeing them as like teenagers or young adults and then seeing them in their 30s. It's so cool, and learning about all of their mysteries and all of their secrets. Like lately I've just been in the biggest slump, like I said, and reading has been just hard. Reading has been just like forcing myself to read. Like, we all know that feeling of being in a reading slump, but this book really grabbed my attention again, and reading is fun again, and I'm super excited. I hope it will stay like that with the next book I'm reading. I've actually read a lot of Goodreads reviews after finishing The Daydreams, and a lot of people wrote that they didn't like that it's told from the point of view of the side character of the TV show, and that it feels like it should have been told from the perspective of the star of the show. I understand this, but this hasn't bothered me personally. The opposite, actually. I found it really new and exciting to get a perspective we don't often get in books. It felt very original to me like that. But for now, let's just enjoy watching me bawling my eyes out over this book. It made me so incredibly emotional, as you can see. bit of a mess. This book was everything, literally, like so many feelings and so many ups and downs, and I can't even express all of the things I'm feeling right now, and every second of it was amazing. I did put it down a lot, but also like I've been thinking so much about it, and I don't know, it just didn't let me go. Like the story didn't let me go, and I think I'll be thinking about it a lot for the next couple of weeks or maybe months, or maybe I'll think about it forever, but I don't know, there was something so special about the story. All of these twists and turns were insane and like never really stopped. Like the whole book was like drama and then like more things coming to light. It was fantastic, honestly. Like it was exactly what I was craving, it was exactly what I needed. And all of the characters made me feel so many emotions, and I really related to them, and they were like so real and had like so many struggles that were like so realistic. What it's like to be an actor in Hollywood and stuff like that, like it was all like so good, and it also showed like the very dark sides of it, which I also enjoyed so much. It was just overall like a very realistic and raw story. What I also really loved was that it didn't only focus on the romance, it also focused on so many different struggles, and like the romance was kind of more like a side part. I don't know, that was really enjoyable to me because it was so refreshing that it's not only like, oh, will they get together, won't they get together? And at the beginning you don't even know like what the romance actually is. With romance books I often feel like that they're very predictable in some way, because you kind of know like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the couple and they're gonna get together. Also, if you know some of the tropes of a book, like you already kind of know how the story is gonna go. And I don't know, I sometimes find that a little bit boring. I have nothing else to say. It was absolutely fantastic. It was amazing. 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. And I'm honestly kind of scared that it's gonna put me in an even bigger reading slump now, because I have to find a book to match it, or like that catches my attention like this one did. Okay, it's about an hour later than the clip you just saw, and guess what I decided reading? I didn't start it yet, so I don't know if I'll stick to it, but right now I have a good feeling about it because I was super emotional after finishing Daydreams, and I really feel like reading something emotional right now. Guess what I decided to start reading? I'm really gonna read Happy Place by Emily Henry now. I remember reading the first few pages of this and being like, oh yeah, that's like a super romanticizing and emotional story, I feel like. And I hope that the male love interest is gonna be like very cute and nice and isn't like focused on like the body, or like, oh yeah, he's so big, he's so hot and stuff like that. Like I'm really not into those kind of stories. So yeah, I really hope that it's not gonna be like this. But Emily Henry hasn't disappointed me yet, because her love interests are usually very like character focused. So the first few pages were exactly what I was hoping for, super romanticizing and about the friend group and the beautiful holiday home. But after a few chapters it got so focused on the romance and I became kind of bored with it, not gonna lie. Like, duh, it's a romance book, so I should have expected this to happen. But what I love most about romance books is usually the setting and the whole atmosphere. Of course, I also care about the romance part of it, but like I said earlier, it often feels very predictable to me. So for me to enjoy it, there needs to be more to the story than just the romance. I would love to know if you feel the same way or if that is just my personal opinion. But yeah, I really did try to love it, which is why I've made myself the perfect summer snack and created a whole vibe, but it just didn't really click for me for some reason. So the next day I finished listening to the audiobook of Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. A morning filled with sunshine on the balcony, cat cuddles, and later some self-care was so perfect, and Catching Fire was just as fantastic as the first one, but because of my book slump it didn't really get the full 5 out of 5 stars for me and only 4.5 stars. But I can't wait to listen to the last book in this series. So yeah, I didn't fully get out of my reading slump, but I've made some steps in the right direction, which is great. And if you're currently in a reading slump yourself or experience one in the future, remember to take it at your own time and to not put so much pressure on yourself. Audiobooks are always a great help, and just listen to what your brain is craving right now and in what kind of mood you're in.